Welcome to online classes. I'm Shilpa, lecturer in computer engineering, working at Dr. B.R. Ambedkar JMR Polytechnic, Karimnagar. In previous lecture, we discussed what is meant by destructor, what is the use of destructor, and we have seen one example program for destructor, how it destroy the object when the scope of the object is no more. And also we discussed concepts of operator overloading, and I have discussed what are the operators which can be overloadable and what are the operators which cannot be overloaded. So in today's lecture we are going to discuss try to understand the concept of operator overloading, and we will see what is meant by unary operators, operator overloading and binary operator overloading, and we will discuss about these things, and we will also see some example programs for overloading unary operator and overloading binary operators if time permits. So as we discussed what is meant by operator overloading, here we are giving another meaning for the operator, that is the mechanism of giving special meaning or another meaning or a new meaning to existing operators. Existing operator is known as operator overloading, and here this comes under comparative polymorphism, or that is also called as static binding or early binding, that comes under um, comparative polymorphism. And here we are simply providing a meaning, that's it. We are not at all changing the syntax of the particular operator. Always the operator syntax is like that only. Okay, so but we are giving another meaning for that operator. We are changing the semantics of an operator, but not the syntax. And maximum all of the operators of C++ can be overloaded. All these are overloadable operators, but there are some operators which cannot be overloaded. So that is class member access operator, scope resolution operator, size of operator, and conditional operator. Now today we'll see what is the syntax for operator overloading. So when we are trying to overload an existing operator, then that can be possible. How that can be possible? What is the syntax for overloading an operator? How it can be used in our program? We will see in today's lecture. So here the general syntax of operator overloading is, as usual, we can consider this particular function as, that is operator OP is name of the member function. We can consider, but first we simply mind this may be the name of the member function. Operator OP is the name of the member function of a class. So if we imagine like that, then if we want to declare the member function out of the class, what is the syntax? Obviously, return type of the member function and the class name to which this member function belongs, and scope resolution operator followed by the name of the member function followed by arguments list and its body. So that is known to all of us. This is like declaring the member function out of the class. Return type of the function, class name to which this member function belongs, and name of the member function, arguments, and function body. So when we are overloading an operator, the syntax is return type, class name, scope resolution, and here we need to use operator, the keyword operator, followed by the operator which we want to overload. OP is nothing but the sign or the operator which we want to overload, and this is the keyword operator, and OP is the operator. Okay, and followed by arguments and all other that is its body. So this is only the thing we need to remember. This is the syntax for declaring operator overloading. We need to use the operator followed by the OP, that is operator. Okay, this is the keyword and this is the existing operator, any existing operator of C++, where return type is the type of value returned by the specified operation. So obviously here, if this particular member function returning any value, then the type should be represented here. And OP is the operator being overloaded. This OP is the operator being overloaded. That is, if I want to overload plus, here plus will be there in the place of OP. If minus will be there in the place of OP. Increment plus. So operator plus. Decrement, then operator minus. Always OP represents the operator which being overloaded. And here the operator is a keyword which should precede OP. This is the keyword which precedes this operator. And operator OP is the function name. Entirely this is the function name, that is member function name. This is the syntax of overloading operator. Operator OP is the name of the member function and return type of this and the class to which it belongs, scope resolution followed by arguments and its body. Okay, this is only the syntax. You can consider this operator OP as the name of the function and operator is the keyword and OP is the operator. And process of operator overloading. The process of overloading involves the following steps. First one, create a class that defines the data type that is to be used in the overloading operation. First, we need to create a class. Create a class that defines the data type that is to be used in the overloading operation, because in previous lecture, as I discussed, as I said, always one of the operands for the operator should be object. When we are trying to overload an operator, one of the operand should be an object, right? So that's why here first we need to create a class that defines the data type that is to be used in the overloading operation, because here only that user defined data type is going to be used in overloading operation. So first step is, first we need to create a class. Okay, and second is declare the operator function operator OP in the public part of the class, like constructors, destructors. Okay, here this operator overloading function should also be in public part of the class only, and it may be either a member function or a friend function. So even the friend function can access the private data of the class directly. That's why here this function, member function, may be either a member function or a friend function. This operator function may be either member function or friend function, and define the operator function to implement the required operation. Now, after declaring that particular operator function, now we need to define that operator function to implement the required operation. That is, for which purpose we are going to define this or use this operator overloading function. So based on that particular purpose, we need to define this operator function to implement the required operations. Okay, this is the procedure we need to follow when we are trying to overload an operator. First we need to create a class, because here that class type or user defined data type is using in the operator overloading function. That's why first we need to create the class, and always after creating the class we need to declare one operator function, that is operator OP in the public part of the class. Okay, and here this operator OP may be, that is operator function may be either member function or a friend function. Okay, and after that we need to define the operator function. Okay, this is the procedure to make to write to use operator overloading. And normally here as we are having two types of normally of course we are having many types of operators, unary operators, binary operators, ternary operators, like that. Normally we use unary operators and binary operators. Okay, so here we are trying to overload unary operators as well as binary operators. Okay, because normally we may have, if we use binary operators, those same operators can be used in ternary or any other type of operators. So here we mainly concentrating on to cover all the operators which can be overloaded. Mainly those operators are divided into two types, unary and binary operators. So for that reason here we are trying to overload unary operators as well as binary operators separately, because there is a difference between unary operator and binary operator. Okay, so first we will see unary operator overloading. A unary operator overloads on only one operand unary. In the name itself or in the term itself, we can say by seeing the term unary, we can say that one. If the operation is performing on a single operand, then that is called as unary operator. So here it operates on only one operand. And if a member function is used to overload a unary operator, it takes no arguments. So here, if a member function is used to overload a unary operator, so by using a member function, if we are trying to overload an operator, because the overload of an operator can be takes place using either member function or friend function. If you are using here, if you are trying to overload the operator function using member function, then obviously it will not take any arguments. It will not take any arguments. Why? Because here this member function should be invoked using the object which is created for that particular class. As this is the member function, this operator function is invoked using object of that class. That's why we need not to pass any arguments, because it takes that object through which it was invoked as its operand. I repeat, it simply take the object through which this operator function was invoked as its operand, and it performs that operation on this object only. That's why we need not to pass any arguments if the operator function is defined in member function. Okay, and if a friend function is used to overload a unary operator, okay, if the member function is used to overload a unary operator, then we need not to pass any arguments, because it takes the object through which this member function was invoked as its operand. If a friend function is used to overload a unary operator, then it takes a single argument obviously, and that argument will be the object of that class or object of the class to which it was friend. Okay, and even when we discuss these friend functions, we passed object as argument to the friend function, right? Even in that time we stress that always the friend function is having object of that class as its argument. Yes, so like that here also when we are trying to overload a unary operator using this friend function, it takes a single argument and that argument is nothing but object of that class. These 2 points are very important. We need to remember when we are trying to overload unary operator. And an overloaded unary operator function can return a value because in the syntax itself we have seen the operator function is going to return a value in the syntax itself. So like that here also an overloaded unary operator function can return a value. And unary operators plus and minus can also be overloaded because here when we are discussing unary operator, normally we will get increment and decrement operators as unary operators. So we can overload increment or decrement operators. And the only important thing to note is that the action of post increment and pre increment is identical. Normally there is a difference between post increment and pre increment. Okay, but here when we are trying to overload a unary operator, okay, these post increment and pre increment are identical. Same. Next, similarly, post decrement and pre decrement produce the same results. Okay, post decrement and pre decrement also produce the same result like pre increment and post increment. So when we are trying to overload this increment and decrement operators, there is no difference between post increment and pre increment. Both are treated as same. Clear? Now we'll see one example program, that is overloading unary plus operator or increment operator. Unary increment operator. Right? So for that here first step is first we need to declare the class. So here we are declaring class distance with two data members, that is feet and inch of appropriate data types, two variables feet and inch. Okay, and one constructor. How I can say this is the constructor and that two parameters constructor, because here the name of the class, so name of the member function is same as the name of the class. So I can say this is the constructor. And how I can say this is a parameter because I am passing two arguments to this constructor. So I can say this is the parameters constructor. So I used one parameters constructor to initialize feet and inch. Feet and inch of type int and float. Okay. And after that I am declaring one this operator function, and the syntax of the operator function is return type, the keyword operator, and the operator which we are going to overload. Here we are overloading unary increment operator, that is plus operator. That's why here we specified that operator and followed by the arguments. In this case no arguments and void display. Okay, this is one member function which is used to display the feet and inch. And I am defining all this constructor and operator function and member function out of the class. Okay, as this is the constructor, it is not having any return type. So class name, scope resolution function, that is constructor name, followed by the arguments, and assigning this FNI to feet and inch. That's it. And I am declaring display member function. So in display simply we are displaying this feet and inch. That's why CO distance in feet, distance in inch. Okay. Simply we are displaying the variables in display member function. That's it. And this is the operator function. Okay. So here we are going to overload the increment operator. So the syntax to declare define the operator function out of the class is return type. The return type of this function is void, so void, and the class to which it belongs, distance, scope resolution, the keyword operator, and the unary increment operator symbol, and that is followed by the arguments, no arguments. And here we need to the specify another meaning for plus plus. Normally this plus plus is used to increment integers. Increment integers. Now we are providing another meaning, that is here this plus plus is going to increment two variables of type int and float. Int and float, that is feet plus plus and inch plus plus. This is only the operation that will be takes place by overloading unary operator plus plus. Normally plus plus is used to increment either an integer or a float or double, whatever it is. But here this plus plus is incrementing two variables, not a single variable at a time. It is incrementing two variables at a time of different data types, of course. Okay, feet and inch. The types of feet and inch is int and float. Okay, this is only the operation or the body of this operator function. And in main, now we need to call all these functions in main in order to make use of those functions. So for that, point main and distance is the name of the class, so I am going to create an object for that, dist. And as there are there is one parameterized constructor, I need to pass two variables. One is of type int and float. Here I am passing both same 10, 10. Okay, and after that, this is the constructor. In this statement is used to invoke the constructor. Okay, that is to initialize data members of the class distance. Data members of the class distance. And after that, I am simply performing this unary operator on the object dist. Okay, that is plus plus dist. I am not at all calling this external, but that is by using the object. I am not calling the operator function. How I can call the operator function? Simply performing that using that operator followed by the object for unary only. So plus plus d. Okay, and after that using that object I am calling the member function display. As this is the member function, I need to use object of this class. So here, as we are having three functions in public part of the class, first is constructor, and the constructor need not be called explicitly. Okay, so at the time of creating object, you can pass arguments to the object so that it will invoke the body of the constructor, and after that operator function, and that will be invoked using that operator followed by the object. And as this displays the member function, we need to invoke this member function through the object, that is dist. Okay, so here what we are doing, simply we are defining one class distance with two data members feet and inch, and three functions. One is constructor, one is operator function, and one is member function. And after that I define all the bodies of these three functions, and in main I am calling these three functions. Okay, now we will execute this program. Okay, hash include iostream, hash include go on here. Okay, first is define the class. Class distance or height, that is height also in feet and inches as you wish. Distance, two variables, int feet, okay, and float inch. And in public you need to declare the member functions, constructor and operator function. So first is constructor distance, okay, with two arguments, int I comma float f. Okay, we are going to define these functions out of the class, so I am leaving here. And void operator function, operator, okay, as we see the color of that is place, that means that is the keyword, okay. And the operator which we are going to overload, that is unary plus and void display. This is the member function which displays the contents of the class or data members of the class. Close of the class. Okay, now define each and every function out of the class. So first one is constructor distance, and the name of the constructor is distance, and int I comma float f, and assign this inf to feet and inch. Feet feet equals to I inch equals to f. Okay, that's it. And after that uh, that is declare the member function display. So void the class name is distance, scope resolution, and the name of the function is display, and its body simply we are printing is data members. Distance in feet. Okay, we need to print the variable feet. Okay, and then see out in that is the inch. See out distance in inch. Distance in inch. Okay, that's it. And now declare the operator function. What is the name of the return type of the operator function, and distance is the name of the class, scope resolution, and function name here operator function. That's why the keyword operator plus without any arguments. Okay, and here what it is doing, simply it is incrementing feet and inches. Inch, that is the uh, definitions of all these functions. Now write the main clear screen and create an object for the class distance. Okay, and pass the arguments here because it is having one parameterized constructor. And now call the operator function. Okay, so that is plus d. and now call the member function using this object, that is d dot display. D dot display and gets h. D dot display. Every statement should terminate with semicolon. Close of the main. Right? I think no errors. Let me save it first. Unary. Unary plus. Save and compile the program. 6 errors. Unable to open iStream. Okay. Typing mistake. I go stream.h. I can save the file. Compile it. And so all these are include F save S. Compile. No errors. Run the program. Distance in feet is 11 and distance in inch is 21. But here we passed 10 10 10 10, right? So the value of feet is 10 and inch is 20. Of course, inches not in 20 normally. Okay, 11 inches 1 feet. Maximum value is 11. Okay, but here we simply, for our understanding purpose, we have provided like that. Otherwise, change it to either 9. Right? And after that, we are calling this operator function, that is plus d, and member function. That's it. Again, compile, errors, run 11 and 10, because there we passed 10 and 9. So 11 and 10. Right? This is unary operator overloading. Not at all complicated. This is very simple. Right? Only we used one simple example for unary operator overloading. We used one constructor, one operator function, and one member function. In operator function, simply we incremented those two data members. Normally, this unary plus that is acts on single variable, but here it acts on object, that is which is having two variables, that may have any number of variables. Okay, this is unary operator overloading. Now we'll see one more example, that is unary minus operator overloading. Unary minus operator overloading. So here what we are doing again, class, we declare one class, that is space, which is having three variables x, y, and z, integer type. Okay, and one member function. Here this is not the constructor, this is a member function. Okay, and using this member function, we are going to assign values for x, y, and z. Int a, int b, and int c. It is taking three variables as arguments. Okay, and after that, I am using one more member function, that is display, to display the data members. And here we declare operator function which overloads unary minus. Unary minus, operator is the keyword and minus is the operator. Okay, so unary minus. And here we declare that is define all the bodies of two member functions and one operator function. So first member function declaration is simply, definition is accepting three variables and assigning them to data members as the values. and display simply displaying these these three data members. Okay, and operator minus, what it is doing? It's simply changing the signs of x, y, and z. Okay, here these three are the data members of the class. Normally minus, that is in order to change the sign. Okay, we use a single variable, but here when we are using this operator overloading concept and overload, that is performing this operator overloading function on the object, it can change the signs of any number of data members of that class. So in this case, I have declared I am simply changing the signs of the data members x, y, and z. So x equals to minus x, y equals to minus y, z equals to minus z. Okay, that is only the definition of operator function. And after that, in main, we are creating one object for the class space, and using this as we are calling member function, that is get data, passing arguments, that is for the values of x, y, and z. And after that, cout s, okay, s dot display. So normally here we are not at all calling any operator function. We are calling the member function by passing some values, and we are displaying those data members values using display. And after that, here this is the object name s, and I am performing this unary minus operation on the object minus s. Okay, and after that we are simply displaying cout minus s dot display. So here it activates operator function, that is operator minus in this case. It activates, this particular statement activates operator function, in this case operator minus function. Okay, now execute this program also. Okay, hash include string. See, there may be some typing mistakes. Include, like in previous program, convo dot h. Okay, and declare the class space with two variables of type index comma y comma z, and two member functions and one operator function. First member function is void get data, which accepts three variables int a comma int b comma int c. Okay, and one more member function, that is void display, and operator function void keyword operator followed by the operator, that is unary minus, and the close of the class, and define each and every function out of the class. So void return type of the get data is void, and the class to which belongs is space, scope resolution, and the name of the member function is get data with three arguments int a comma int b comma int c. Okay, I send them to these variables, that is x equals to a, y equal to b, z equals to c. That's it. Okay, on initialization. And declare another member function, that is display void space scope resolution, function name is display, without any arguments. Okay, now simply see out x, y and z. See out x equals to some space x, okay, and del, and see out y equal to space y and del, and see out z equals to z and del. Okay, this is only the definition of display function. And now define that is operator function. Void space scope resolution keyword operator and minus. Simply what it is doing, it's simply changing the signs of x, y and z. So x equal to minus x, y equal to minus y, z equals to minus z. That's it. Okay. Now write the main function. Void main, normally in C++ we use int main and return 0, but it also works for void, so simply for that. Otherwise you can use, okay, let me use int, okay, and clear screen, and create an object for the class space s, and call the member function using this s and pass the values for x, y, z. Okay, so s dot function name is get data pass values. What it do? Simply it assigns those values to the variables x, y, z. Okay, so here I passed 10, minus 20 and 30 as arguments to this member function. Okay, and after that simply for the first time I want to display the original values of x, y, z. That's why here I am using this s dot. Okay, now call s dot display, s dot display. That's it. And after invoke the operator function, that is using the operator, that is minus operator, and the object is s, so minus s. And now print out the values with this overloading operator. Okay, so for that cout minus s, minus s. Okay, now using same object, that is this s, call the member function display and get ch return 0, and close of the main. Okay, clear screen space s dot get data values we are passing, and cout as initial values we are printing here by calling the display function, and we invoke the operator loading function, that is minus on this object, so minus s, and cout minus s dot display and get ch. Right, save the file. You unary minus. Okay, and save it. Now compile it. No errors. Now run the program. See, x equals to 10, y equal to minus 20, z equal to 30, and minus s is, it's simply changing the signs of s. So minus s is minus 10, 20, and minus 30. Slash n we will give, and we will change the values even. Okay, minus n. So here even I want to make this as minus initially. Okay, so save it. Alter, save, compile the program, and run the program. See, as x equals to minus 10, minus 20, and 30. That is the initial values which we pass to get data function. And when it is operating this minus s, when the compiler invokes this operator function, okay, then it is changing the signs of x, y, z. That's why here we are getting x equals to 10, y equal to 20, and z equals to minus 30. Normally here minus is used to change a single variable sign, but here we provide another meaning for that minus, so that here it is changing the sign of the object. That means it is changing the sign of the data members of a particular object, all the data members of an object. Okay, so like that we changed here the meaning of the existing operator minus. Okay, so in today's lecture we discussed how we can overload unary operator. What is the syntax for writing the syntax for operator overloading? Okay, so this is the syntax, and how we can overload a unary operator. Even we can overload binary operator, but in this lecture we have observed how we can overload a unary operator with two example programs. That is, we overloaded unary increment operator, and also we overloaded unary minus operator. We will continue in the next class, that is binary operator overloading. Thank you.